Hey, welcome back. Another day, another vlog. Hope you're all well on this Friday, end of the working week for everyone, including me, although I do have a ton of work I want to get done. Where can we start? Rightio, heaps to talk about, want to get it all done and dusted, get you home and ready to go for the weekend and enjoy a little bit of the extra freedoms we have this weekend, so that's pretty exciting for everyone, I'm sure. Well, video going well. Got pretty much, it's all in, it's edited, colors done. I've done the color grading and gone through, fixed all that. Done the audio, cleaned up all that with my preset one I've got, which is really good, makes things really quick. I'm getting a lot of my preset stuff that I have got set up sound wise, and that makes things a lot better. Hopefully by tomorrow, I've got to work tonight. Hopefully tomorrow I'll have it all finished. I've still got to do music, graphics and bits and pieces on it, and render it out, which is the longest part on the poor old MacBook Pro 13-inch from 2014. She's still surviving. And then we should hopefully be able to get it uploaded tomorrow morning. That's my plan once I get up. So yeah, fingers crossed that should be all good. But yeah, looking all good. Pretty happy with how it's all come together. Wasn't a super big mega thing, just one of those random ones, just went out for a hike, but it's come up pretty good and I'm pretty happy with the whole thing at the moment. Right, what else? I made the mistake of starting my website last night as well, and can I just tell you one thing? When you see a Squarespace ad and it says it's super easy, I must be a muppet because I spent at least an hour on it and I still struggling. I still don't know. You take the templates, I'm assuming you just check that. It is way more trickier than what I thought. I thought I'd just go in, template, change the words, chuck my photos in. Nah. So I've got to do some work on that as well. I think that's going to be the weekend project. I've got it in there for that 14-day trial to give it a bit of a crack. I want to try and get it all sorted, and then we're going to go from that. But I've also got another project I want to look at as well, that over the weekend, to do with what we're going to talk about next, which I'll discuss. But yeah, that's I've watched Square. I've thought about it, and I've been planning on doing it. For what everyone keeps saying how easy it is, and that's what I wanted. Just something easier. I can go put my photos up and just put my bits in, and then have links to whatever, to the Teespring store, where the shirts and bits and pieces, and the cups and all that sort of stuff. But it's a little bit trickier, so I needed some time to sit down and actually stuff around with that and get it half right. Then I've got to go change all my photos, because you can only use Poxy JPEG photos, and that's the other thing that was frustrating me, was websites about showing off your best quality, but all you can put is a crappy JPEG image up there, which really defeats the purpose. I thought the idea of putting your photos up on display was, especially on a website, was the fact you go in and you could see all this amazing detail and all that. And a JPEG's not going to be able to hold all that data. It's a small, tiny file. If people are zooming into it, they're not going to get the same as, say, a TIFF file, which has all that data in it. I know they're bigger than that, and it's a website and all that. I'm not sure if that changes once you start paying for it. But in the free trial, I know the first couple of pictures I put up, even my logo was JPEG. I had to go to JPEG. I can't use my TIFF files, which is strange because it doesn't scale out properly. So there's a lot of things I need to look at it in there. Maybe it's just me. I don't know how it's easy to everyone else, but I'm sort of consider myself not a moron when it comes to technology, but I've got a fair understanding. But yeah, wow, I thought Premiere Pro was hard. This website thing looks a little trickier than what I thought. So maybe I'm just looking at it wrong, but I'll do some more on the weekend and let you know how I go on Monday. Hopefully next week, if I can play around with it and get some stuff done, I can get this website up. I need to go and work out how many photos and what I can do. It's going to be sort of more of I'll have like a work set a travel set, hike set and stuff like that around, and go from there. So we'll get there. Rightio, so that's what I'll lean into. The other project I want to look at is Rode, which is an Australian company, and I do think that's pretty fantastic. World renowned for sound. I use their wireless Go's as well as this micro. Just blow out your sound there. They do world-class stuff. They're very switched on in the podcasting segment as well. And, well, this show's pretty much all about me chatting and talking, and there's no pictures or anything to show up behind me. So they have their annual podcast comp on that's reopened up. I think it closes early June, so you have to get your entries in. There's $150,000 in prizes available. You have to create a 1 to 2 minute podcast and put it up on one of their podcast mob. I think it's Archer. Don't get me wrong. That's probably wrong. So there's obviously they've got a heap of them they put in to get the money to do the prizes. So you've got to put it up on there. You put that link into their section. I'm pretty sure it's free to thing. I've registered now. I've got all the stuff, so I want to give that a crack. And I thought, well, why not maybe turn this daily show? All I have to do is just chuck this into Premiere Pro, take the audio, or I can just put the whole show straight up on podcast and turn this into a podcast as well as my YouTube Another Day, Another Vlog series. So I thought, well, why not? I kill two birds with one stone and get twice the value for the one record, and we'll go from there. So I'm going to give that podcast comp a crack as well. I think that's worth a crack for anyone that's thinking about trying out podcasting. If you're doing it now or you've done in the past and you're looking for a reason to get back into it, head over to the Rode website for all the details. As I said, the Australian company is fantastic. They've teamed up a lot of great other sponsors to give you a chance to win a heap of prizes. There's all sorts of different levels. 1 to 2 minute, we're already at 7 minutes and I haven't really started much. So 1 to 2 minutes, I think that's going to be my biggest problem, reducing it down to 2 minutes. So I think that video will just be basically about Tigers Media and what I'm all about. But other than that, I think that's a pretty cool idea. And podcasting's, if you don't want to be on camera, if you don't enjoy people looking at you, but you've still got something to say, well, podcasting's a way to be able to get your voice out there and be heard and have your opinion said. You all pay taxes. We all pay taxes. So you've got every right to have a say. That never hurt anyone, putting your thoughts out there. And yeah, go from that. But definitely check it out. Very, very cool and sounds good. Now, over to Canon Rumors. Today's Rumors. Just on fire with the rumors this year. Canon, in the midst of a viral pandemic, Canon has got so much happening. Rumors today about 2 more R bodies coming out in 2021. So yes, I think yesterday we talked about the M50, the Pro body and a standard body, that new one. We knew there was one coming in September. Whether it's pushed back to later, maybe October, November, but we should have 2 this year for the M50 or the M series range, and one of them should be a pro level M series, which I'm super mega excited about. Well, in the R, we've got the R5 and the R6 this year. By June, we should have both of them out and released. The R5 being the premium one, and then the R6 the next level down. Now, they're saying the R6 basically will be the replacement for the R. There will be no R again. That will become the R6, the base level one, or not the base level, the mid tier, I guess. The RP will possibly get replaced by possibly an R9, and hopefully the 2 new ones as well could be a studio landscape high quality one, or a high megapixel R5S or an R3. They don't reckon that one of these 2 will be an R1, like a 1DX or anything like that, an R1DX or an RX or R1X. They reckon they'll probably wait a little bit, give that a bit of a period. They've only just brought out the 1DX3, so maybe 2 or 3 years, let them develop this technology a little bit more, and then build some super mega crazy titanium framed freak of a body to become their peak one. So once the sort of format gets taken up a little bit more, and that's probably not a bad idea. I don't think we need another $10,000 to $15,000 camera out there. The 1DX Mark III does a fantastic job, and everyone that's used it is loving it, and it's performing faultlessly. I'd say that, and ideally, what I would say is next year we've got the Olympics. That's what the 1DX Mark III was out this year for, and that's what would have been used. So that'll do this Olympics. I'd say they'd be aiming the mirrorless version of that for the next Olympics, so that 4-year timeline. So yeah, so not this next year's Olympics, the one after, so in 3-4 years time from now. So yeah, hope that makes sense. That's my theory on it. But these two, I think, yeah, definitely like a landscape version. With that R5 being a 45 megapixel sensor, I'm not sure what they're going to go. Do they really need to go mega? I don't think they need to change that sensor. I think they might add some other things in. I'm not sure what that's going to be. This R5 is covering a lot of bases. It's got IBIS in it. It's got that big sensor. It's got all the video recording. So theoretically, you could have two of these suckers, one doing your vlogging, filming you while you're doing your shots, and then taking your shots. I don't really how the studio might have a better color format or something in their log or some sort of new whatever. I'm sure they'll think of something to sell it, but yeah, that's what we're looking for. Another 2 of those to come out in not long, in 2021. So yeah, heaps happening in Canon. Now Sony had their conference, their online release conference for imaging products. There's been talk on YouTube and on the web about how they were going to finally release the new A7S3, or there was 5 years in the waiting. Nothing. There was nothing there. I went over to the Sony website to check it out, and zero on their website. It was more about video cameras and some technology there, some stupid cloud-based crap like the Canon stuff, which really no one's that excited about. That's just an accessory. It's not really something fun. And yeah, there was a small compact camera updates and hardware updates and software updates, and there was actually no camera. This is what everyone in Sony was waiting for, that 7S3 replacement, and it never come. So there was already some videos out on YouTube giving them a bit of a spray about that and how they basically have let their Sony people down, which is pretty true, I'd say. Excuse me. Now, over to some COVID stuff. We'll get that covered, and that'll finish us for a weekend. So a little bit of tech stuff happening. It's pretty cool. There's still always things happening. That road comp sounds fun. Let's move into big bad Donald Trump. He's never one to be out of the news. It's very, very handy for us that I record the news to let you sort of know what he's doing, because it's always fun. Now, he has gone out and accused the Wuhan Institute of Virology of creating the virus. He thinks it. A reporter asked him on his press conference if he thought that they had created it and they were involved, and he said yes. His reports and his knowledge, he'd been told that their belief was that it had come from the Wuhan Institute of Virology, and that the World Health Organization was the PR, public relations of China. So he sprayed the World Health Organization. He's already cut their funding, and then he's now bringing that fight back to the Chinese. And if he's got information, and he's got the best information in the world, between the FBI, NSA, and all those, and the black ops people, if they think it's coming from there, I think China's now going to have a fair bit to answer for, and we could see at the back end of this, is what I'd hate to see the back end of anything, is you come out of a virus and into some sort of a war, because to be honest, these Chinese people don't like getting told to suck eggs, and right now the Australian government's told them to suck eggs, and now Trump's and the US are telling them to suck eggs yet again. It's going to be interesting to see how this pans out. definitely haven't heard the last of that. Now, in Australia, we've been pretty lucky. Our curve has sort of flattened a fair bit, so now we're sort of planning and delegating and seeing how we're going to come out of this and our path into the future and what that all means to us. The cabinet, or the Prime Minister or cabinet, will be sitting and discussing a few things. One of them will be sporting comps. So that's sporting comps of all levels. Australia have pretty much been shut for the last 8 weeks. They're talking about when they're going to be able to reopen them and let people go back and play their sports and all things like that. So obviously AFL, rugby, which have been hit pretty hard by it here in Australia, but also your local sporting comps. I know baseball back in the Territory, that's been shut down. They're thinking about starting up training shortly. They've been given the go-ahead. They can go out and do outdoor activities. With that release yesterday, the NT has opened up outdoors. That's all now good to go, so they can go outdoors and play sport together and do stuff and just keep their social distance so they can train. Can't have any close contact, usual social distancing stuff. So that's all starting to lead up towards some sort of whatever the new normal is going to be for us, I guess, is what I'm talking about. Now, also on the Australian side, the stock market has bounced back fairly well on the good results that we have had. There's been a big bounce back by the banks, have bounced back pretty good. The Australian stock market, it dropped down 37%. They said this morning on a video I watched, one of the economists, and it's already come back up 21% by today. So that's huge. So we've only got another 16% to catch up on, which is pretty awesome considering could have been a lot worse. I think I looked at my super, which I got an update yesterday for that, and I'd lost from when it crashed. I think it was $60,000 I'd lost out of my super during this 8 weeks. So it was just pretty depressing on how long it takes you to earn that much money. To see me graph sort of slowly going up, preparing for my retirement in 2030, it'll be 30 years by the time I can retire. At 75, I'd say it'll be by then. But to see it sort of slowly, steady going away and thinking, I'm going to have enough money to pay my bills when I'm an old wreck of a man. To see that just go down like that, yeah. And I remember the GFC, my old man, exactly the same. He had his money, he'd sold his business, and all the hard work of his life had done. And the GFC came and went bang and smashed it and just crushed him. And they took a huge chunk out of all he worked for. So it's not much fun, that stock market, when it goes against you. So it's great to see that bouncing back, and hopefully, especially for the guys that are now in retirement, that is a huge blow to them. So hopefully this will pick back up and at least get back to a flat line. So they may have only lost a few $1,000s, not 50 to 100,000 or something crazy. That's really going to affect what they can and can't do. And you got to remember, these retired people, they're when things do open up for travel and stuff, international, once we get this vaccine or it all clears out, your retirees and they're the people that actually travel and spend the money. These guys keep economies rolling with this retirement fund. So if they don't have that retirement fund, then they don't travel, then you don't get any tourists and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, it's pretty important. Now, last but not least, pretty sad note, 30 million USA people now out of a job due to this. That's about 10% of their population. I think they're around about 330 million, so roughly just a smidge under 10%, which is what I think we're looking at. I think we're about 1.6 or something million or something. So we're not as much. What are we, 25? So we need 2.5. So we're under that, which we've been, as I said, we're very lucky here in Australia what we've had happen to us. So it's not been anywhere near as bad as some of these other places. So I do feel for them. 10% unemployment's a terrible thing. I do remember the 80s, and when it was round about that mark again, it was not much fun at all for anyone. Work was a pain. Bosses had all the power, and employees were pretty much treated like shit. So as long as it doesn't go back to that, I don't think these millennials have had to taste that flavour of getting treated like shit. And I have seen that firsthand. I've seen what happens when you can be sacked in an instant and not have anywhere to go. So it's a bit tough over there. So I do feel for the guys in the States, and I hope everyone over there that's a subscriber has still got the job and still faring okay. It's some tough times still there for a while for those guys. Not a good way to end, but an ending nonetheless. I hope you all have a good weekend. I'll see you all again Monday, and what do you know? This app keeps dropping out. It's terrible. The Canon Connect. On my iPhone, I've got to change something on it. I'll play with that on the weekend as well and get that fixed. Whether you're coming or going out to meet some friends for your first time in a month, enjoy your dinner, have a nice bit of conversation if you are, and that'll be cool. And I will see you all Monday. That way, we'll see you soon.